Wow. You guys are trying to make me cry. Yeah, those dark days. So in June of 2019, I flew to Saskatoon. I was seeing somebody at the time up there, and I was gonna go hang out during the summer and just stay healthy, have fun. It was gonna be easy. And about a week into it, my transverse colon started closing over, and I was taken to the Saskatoon Regional Hospital. And I don't remember the first 4 days. I was pretty medically sedated due to all the trauma that my body was going through, the fact that I wasn't able to keep food down or eat or anything like that. And so I woke up 4 days later, and I was alone in a city that I didn't know. And the only people I knew was this person I was seeing, his mom, and I guess his family. And I stayed in the hospital for 21 days alone. I was visited very lovingly by his mom, Marla, who kept me alive by showing me love, by holding my hand when I was terrified, by supporting me when I was ready to give up, by fighting for my health, fighting against the nurses that were trying all different kinds of things. And then also at the end of the day, being a shoulder that I could cry on. There was one day in particular. It was a few days into my stay, and my inflammation had traveled to my diaphragm, which made it difficult to breathe, and I couldn't breathe. And one of these nurses thought that it was a panic attack. So she had given me anti-anxiety medication, and I have never been on anti-anxiety medication. So at that point, my body stopped caring that I couldn't breathe. My oxygen stats dropped, everything slowed down, my feet got cold. Whew. Everything got so tingly and dark, and I remember thinking that I was going to die. And for a hot second, I was okay with it. I was tired. I was sick of fighting. I didn't want to deal with this disease. And for just a moment, I allowed my eyes to close, and I stopped fighting against the pain, and everything got dark. And then I heard my grandpa's voice, and not really, but I just remember back when I was a kid, he would always tell me, I'm gonna make it, no matter what was going on in his life. And so at that moment, I sat there and said, I'm gonna make it. And I took another painful breath, and eventually doctors came in. I got the help that I needed. We got my inflammation under control. My transverse colon became under control. Everything was. And I remember being so terrified, and I had texted Marla, and I asked her to just come, and she just came and just stayed by my bed and supported me, held my hand through all of my scopes and my needle pokes, through the tubes and the forcing to needing to start to eat. And those dark days are real, and it's part of having a chronic illness. And I guess it's part of originally getting diagnosed, is there are dark days where you realize who's going to be there physically, emotionally, in spirit, and you're gonna realize that sometimes it's a little too hard for some people, and that's okay. But on those dark days, even still now, I always look at myself and I tell myself I'm going to make it, because I fought long and hard in that hospital in Saskatoon, and I've fought long and hard for the last year and a half to allow this disease to beat me mentally or physically, or even break my spirits. So the way you get through those dark days, as sad and as hard and as scary as they are, is by reminding yourself that you can make it, and by fighting for it. Find people in your life who are going to support you and love you and be there. I always tell people now to find your Marla. So for me, she held my hand and was with me through so many traumatic events when she didn't have to be. So find your Marla and remember that no matter what, you're gonna make it through this day. Choose to live. Even with a chronic illness, choose to live.